Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another Thursday where we are going to be sharing a lot of things. Welcome to Rainer Speaks. Welcome to everybody from Ghana, from Kenya, from the US, from the UK, from Togo, wherever you are from in the world. We want to say a big welcome to you, and let's get right on it. We've been talking about a whole host of things, and remember that this year our theme is becoming a better version of ourselves. So this year, we want by the time the year ends in 2022, you can tell that emotionally, psychologically, morally, physically, socially, you have become a better version of yourself that is going to propel you to your next level. If you believe with me, say amen. Amen. All right, so today we're going to be talking about a topic that I believe is very, very necessary in these times. We have a lot of graduates, we have a lot of people who are out of work and are looking for another place to work. Now, there are a whole lot of things we need to know before you even go there to try and get hired. So we're going to be talking about how to get hired. And this is going to be in two parts. We are going to talk about how to get hired one, how to get hired two, so that we can really go into the subject and understand why sometimes we are not hired. You know, they are very petty things, and some of those are the reasons why we don't get hired for the jobs. Not because we don't qualify for it, but that we did these things or did not do these things that could have led us to be hired. So welcome on board everyone, and thank you for joining one more time. Let's get right to it. How to get hired. You want a job and go searching for one, or see one advertised. Let's talk about what you should do to get hired. So sometimes you are searching for a job. Sometimes you see an advertisement somewhere that is asking for a job, and so you want to know, how do you get that job? What are the best things to do for you to be one of the people who will be considered or shortlisted, as we would say? Now, number one is read through all the requirements of the job and be sure to have what they are looking for. Read through all, don't just see a job and get excited. Hey, I've seen a job, I'm going to apply for it. No. Read through every single thing they have written there. Some jobs will say that must be able to work with little or no supervision. Some jobs will say that must have 5 years experience. Some jobs will say that must be willing to relocate. You know, for example, if you just get too excited about the job and you don't read the part that says must be willing to relocate, you are likely to get excited and even get the job and not be willing to relocate to where the job is. And then you would have managed to spoil somebody else's chance, if you know what I mean. So always make sure you are reading through every single requirement as to the qualification, as to the job description, as to any other thing that is there. Read it thoroughly. Go through one by one by one and make sure you understand every single thing that is required for the job. Every single thing that is required for the job, so that you are not overdoing or underdoing anything when you get the job. Number two is that after you have made sure you understand everything about the job, the second thing for you to do is to apply. Now you know what they need, you know what the job description is about, you know any other encomiums that have been added to it. The next thing for you to do is to apply for the job. A typed out application and CV should be prepared and sent. I say a typed out because, shockingly, I'm somebody who employs people sometimes, and you'll be surprised to know that people are still writing application letters on pen, on foolscap sheet, and presenting it. We still have people writing applications in pen on foolscap sheet and presenting it. That, in fact, the fact that you presented an application letter with a pen, with a foolscap sheet, automatically disqualifies you from whatever job you're looking for. Believe me, if you're looking for any kind of job, your best bet is to type out your application. Any kind of job. I mean any kind of job. I don't want to mention any jobs. We should not think that a typed out application letter is for specific kinds of jobs and not for the others. There are some jobs that they may not look like they need typed, but the perk to it is that once you type and go, they will take you, because if you have even taken that job very seriously by typing out an application letter, it means that you really want to do the job and you really come there with professionalism. So a typed out application letter and a CV detailing everything that we should know about you should be there. where you went to school, the jobs you've done before, your referees, any positions you've held, and any particular skills that you think will be necessary or will be really needed in the job that you are applying for. List all of them. Don't forget to add your phone number, your full number. You might want to drop in a few hobbies as well, you know, and then that will make the person who is coming to interview or who is reading the letter get to know you a bit more, and it's easier to review in case you are called for an interview. All right, so the third thing is, if the job is far away, call and find out if it can be sent by mail. If it's close, go there physically. That helps you to have a glance of your working environment. So let's assume you saw an advertisement and you've written the application letter. Do call and find out where, if there's a location on it already, I mean on the advertisement, then you're cool. You know where it is and you know whether you have to go there or you send by email. But whatever it is, the best thing for you to do is to call the job and find out, should I bring it myself or should I send it by email? If they agree for you to send it by email, good to go. If they ask you to bring it to where they are, that is an advantage for you because it gives you a chance to see the environment you'll be working in, and for you to decide even if whether you eventually want to turn in your application or not. Once you get there, you see people working, you see how the environment looks, you will convince yourself whether that is the kind of place you want to work or not. So I would say go for delivering it yourself if it is allowed by that company. The next point is, make sure you find out as much as you can about the institution or organization. Now, this is something that I find that a lot of people do not do. You want to work at a place, but you have not taken the time to find out exactly what they do, how long they've been there, the values that are what should I say, the values that are there, the values that they really like, those ones that they really uphold. Sometimes you ask a person at an interview, so how did you hear about us? A friend. Okay, so what do you know about us? Nothing. Some have even gone as far as, but I've not yet started working here, so I can't know anything about. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. Don't say anything like that anywhere, anytime. It's like, we should know that you have not started working. How will you know a place where you have not started working? You are asking me a question I can't answer. Please don't do that. At least any institution that is an institution now has some online representation, whether on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, something that you can find out at least how it started, at least why it started, at least what it entails now. You should never ever walk into a place for an interview or any kind of thing. I mean, before you even go, you should be willing to find out exactly what is going on there. Now, in the event that it is a friend of yours, let's say a friend of yours already works there and is trying to recruit you to them and say that, oh, this is a good place for us to work. I think that if you join us, it will be a good idea. Ask your friend as many questions as you can concerning that place. You may not even be going to do the same job, you know, but just the general outlook. So what do people do? When am I expected to get to work? When will we close? Is lunch served? Are we allowed to leave the premises while we are there? Is there a prescribed uniform? How many bosses do we have? Is there an HR? Okay, do we give reports? I mean, basic questions so that you know a little bit about the place, and when you are asked, it shows interest. It's just like a man chasing a woman. Most of the time, he already knows her name, has tried to get her number from friends. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying. When you're trying to chase a woman, the things that you have been doing, that one, you do that one. So try and find something about the place before you go there, so that when you are asked a question, you will be able to answer the question. All right. Number 5 is that you should dress formally for the interview. In the event that your application is gone through and you find out that you've been taken, or you are called that you've been taken, they've received your application, you've been shortlisted and you're supposed to come, please dress formally for the interview. I cannot overemphasize this. I have had people wearing chalawote. Chalawote in Ghana is bathroom slippers, coming for an interview. I've had people who just look like, oh, when we got the call, we were in the kitchen, so let's just bring what we're wearing in the kitchen to the interview. First impressions count. Make sure, if you are confused about what to wear, let me give you a simple thing that you can wear that will always pass the mark. If you're a guy, you can wear a very nice pair of trousers, a black shirt and a tie, and a jacket with very nice shoes and a pair of socks. If you're a lady, you can do the same, just make it a skirt. Make it a skirt, a shirt, a nice jacket, a pair of court shoes. Court shoes are high-heeled shoes that are covered in the front. Make sure your hair looks well. If you're going to do makeup for a woman, do little makeup. Don't. It is not now that you are coming to show us all your makeup skills. A little concealer, contouring and highlighting. That is not. It is not for the interview. It is not a makeup interview now. It is an interview where you want job. So it's not there. You are coming to show us that you have contouring expertise, highlighting expertise. No, simple makeup. And the guys, please, for the love of whatever I gotta say, do not have a haircut that suggests anything. Your haircut should be down. Your haircut should be cut down in a very normal manner. Well, I want to do me well, sweetheart. Until you've started your own company, doing you is quite complicated. So when you've started yours, you can do you and employ people who look anyhow and be happy with it. As far as you're applying for somebody else's job, these are the ways that you look presentable. Even the ladies, a skirt that is below the knee is preferable to a skirt that is tight and above the knee. So dress well for whatever interview it is you are going for if you are called. Now, another thing is, you've been called for an interview, you've gone to the place, and let's say that maybe when you get there, there are a whole lot of people also waiting for the interview. When it's your turn and the bell is even rung or whatever is used to call you to come inside, no matter what is going on, even if the door is widely ajar, or if the door is ajar, something of that sort. If the door is ajar, knock before you enter. When you get there, let's assume when you get there, the door was already open. Still knock on the open door before you enter. It is preferable to knock and wait to hear, come in, before you come in. All these things are very little things, and yet they speak volumes about you. So knock before you enter. Knock before you enter. Number 7 is, do not sit until you are told to do so. Do not sit until you are told to do so. A lot of the people who go for interviews, once they knock and they enter, they just take a seat. It's wrong. It's not courtesy. It's not etiquette. So what you do is that once you knock and they've said, come in, you walk in, you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is, in the most polite manner that you can. Then you wait to be told to sit down. Wait. If nobody says you should sit down, stand throughout the interview. Believe me, that's how it's supposed to be. Stand throughout the interview. If you find that nobody's telling you, telling you to sit down, get into a comfortable standing position that projects you well, stand up and receive your questions and answer them, just as with all the poise you would have done if you were sitting down for the interview. All right. The next point says, have all your documents at hand, originals and copies. You probably have been asked to bring certain certificates if you have them. And once you have them, bring the originals, but make copies before you come, so that when they ask you for the certificates, you can present the originals, but when you are leaving, you can leave the copies with them. Because they have seen the originals, it is easy for them to believe that they are really original ones there, and they can collect the copies. Don't go there with only the copies, because the copies cannot be proof of the fact that the original document exists. So you show them the originals. When you are going, you can politely ask them, oh, can I leave behind the copies? I had a young man who came for an interview, and he is one of the best people who have done the interview. He still works with us now. What he did was he brought the originals and the copies, and then when he was leaving, he asked us, is it okay for him to leave the copies with us? We hadn't thought about it, so we collected the copies and we have them. But because we've seen the originals, we know that they are really his certificates, his qualifications, and that we have the copies there as well. The next point is that have a balanced smile at all times. Don't smile at one of the panelists and frown at one of the panelists. So one is asking a question, you're like, oh, hello, all right, oh, okay. Then one asks a question, you're like, no. Have a balanced smile throughout. Even when the questions are extremely difficult, and you don't really know what to say, you can still maintain a smile. So somebody asks you a question, blah, 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 you're like, all right, okay, all right, yes. So I think that for this question, the answer is, because you're smiling, you keep them happy, and you are boosting your confidence as you continue to smile. You may not even have the correct answer, but just that gesture of having a balanced smile, not a fake one that is like a fake smile like this, or a forced smile like, no, none of that. Just a balanced, nice smile that makes them feel you are comfortable and confident in what you're saying, and lets them trust that what you are saying is true. Just a balanced smile. All right. Number 10 says, do your homework well. Do your homework to be well versed and ready for questions in the area you applied for. Do your homework to be well versed and ready for questions in the area you applied for. Now, I had a little scripture that I wanted us to share today, just to boost that point that I made right now. 2 Timothy 2:15. It says, study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Let me see if I can get it in the Message Bible. Okay, it says, concentrate on doing your best for God, work you won't be ashamed of, laying out the truth plain and simple. So study to show yourself approved means that study so that when we ask you, you are able to produce what it is that you have studied. Now, in this case, you are going for a job that you have applied for, saying that you know how to do the job. So you should be able to answer the questions that are coming. So you should study. You should study the various, let's say if I'm going for a teaching job, I'm applying to be a teacher. I should be prepared that there's probably going to be a question like, so if you face this kind of problem in the classroom, what are you going to do? The answer should not be, when I get there and the problem comes, I will know how to solve it. Wrong answer. If I was on that panel, you would not get the job. You should have specific points laid out ready for the answers, if you understand what I'm saying. So if you meet a child who is refusing to budge in classroom, what will you do? I'll do 1, I'll do 2, I'll do 3. You can even go a step further and say, if all these 3 do not work, I will do this. That means that you have studied and you understand the job that you are coming to do. And so we don't have to think about you, and you can work with little or no supervision. All right. The last point for today says, use simple English. Use simple English. Please, don't come and be using English that we cannot interpret. You don't know how to pronounce the thing. You don't know the meaning. Then at interview, it is now that you are saying all kinds of Queen English. Then when we ask you, you don't understand. Use simple English, something that everybody there can understand. Something that you will not have a problem explaining to whoever is there if you were asked to explain. Use simple English to explain everything, to answer every question, and to make it easier for whoever is under the sound of your voice to understand. So what have we learned today? How to get hired. I want to get hired. How do I work to get hired? Number 1 is read through all the requirements of the job and be sure you have what they are looking for. Number 2 is apply. A typed out application letter and CV should be prepared and sent. Number 3, if the job is far away, call and find out if you can send the application letter by email. But if it is close and you can go, it's better for you because you see what kind of working environment you'll be working in. The next point is make sure you find out as much as you can about the institution or the organization. The next one is that you must dress formally when called for an interview. Make sure you are looking sharp. Number 6 is knock before you enter the interview room. Don't just barge in. Make sure you knock. Number 7 is do not sit until you are told to do so. Don't sit for any reason at all. If they want to have the interview with you standing up, get into a comfortable position and answer all the questions. Number 8 is have all your documents at hand, originals and copies. Number 9 is have a balanced smile at all times. No fake ones, no forced ones, just a nice smile. Number 10 is that you must do your homework to be well versed and ready for questions in the area you have applied for. And I quoted 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15, study to show yourself approved, a workman that needs not to be ashamed. And then the last point we did today was use simple English. Use simple English. All right, so that's all we have for Raina Speaks today. God bless you and thank you for joining. And don't forget, next week, same time, same place, same time, same place. Don't forget that. Join us and we will continue on how to be hired, part 2. So that by the time we are done, you will know how to be hired. And there's no job you walk into that you will not be hired. Let's go back to Walk On by Adora. Keep walking on and you will definitely get that job.
So far ahead, all I want to do is stand by.